If there's one thing I can say about Siem Reap, it's that the food is amazing. Absolutely delicious. We did not have one bad experience in a restaurant while we were there. The prices vary from place to place, and in the more touristy areas you can expect to pay a few more dollars, but in general the quality and taste is top notch. There's a great combination of all the surrounding countries: Laos, Thai, Vietnam, Myanmar, Western styles, vegetarian as well as Nepalese, Indian, Korean, Chinese and Mediterranean cuisine as well. It's safe to say there's something for everyone. Day 2. Day 2 was exploring day. We'd heard about the circus being in town for that week only, and we wanted to make sure we got tickets for that. The hotel was able to sort that out for us, but there are ticket vendors all around the area and it seemed easy enough to find them if we had needed to. In the afternoon, we set about exploring the city area. We found loads of nice temples and nice parks, and the first place we stumbled upon was Wat Kerasam. This is the Pagoda of the Cornflower Petals. Although pretty small in comparison to some of the other temples around the city, it was lovely and bright in the midday sun. Visiting a pagoda while in Cambodia can be a spiritually and culturally uplifting activity. However, please remember that these are functioning pagodas, and the task and obligation of the monks are of the utmost importance. Bear in mind that we are guests there, and there are general rules that we should try to follow. Here are some basic rules that you could follow for your trip to Cambodia. Number 1. Take your shoes off. When you enter the pagodas, it's likely that you'll see other shoes at the bottom of the steps, so use them as your guide of when to take your shoes off. Number 2. Try not to point your feet at the monks. If you're in a ceremony such as the water blessing or receiving a blessing bracelet, make sure to sit with your knees folded under you and avoid pointing your feet towards the monk. Crossed legs are also unacceptable. Number 3. Don't point with your fingers. You'll often see Cambodians point at things with either their whole hand, their arm, or even their lips, but do not point with a single finger as it's considered extremely rude. Number 4. Do not touch the monks. This goes for men and women. Part of the monk's vow is not to touch women, and they will provide a tray for offerings if you're having a blessing. An inadvertent touch, such as when they're giving you the blessing bracelet around your wrist, is fine. After the temple, we went for a walk in the Royal Gardens. The full name of the gardens is the Royal Crusade for Independence Gardens. This is a bit of a mouthful and is often shortened to the Royal Gardens. You can find the royal residence just opposite, but this is not open to the tourists. Nowadays, the park has become a very popular spot for both locals and tourists to spend some time outside with their friends and families. There are gardens, pagodas, shrines, bats, a river, exercise classes and tourist information centres, and a cafe. Everything you need to spend a few hours relaxing and enjoying the space. The avenue of towering trees that runs through the park from north to south is home to a vast colony of giant fruit bats. If you look up any time of the day, you'll see them hanging around there in the trees from every branch. We learned afterwards, if you get there at dusk, you can see them exiting the trees for their nightly hunts. After dinner, we headed to the circus. The tuk-tuk cost us around $7 and the tickets for the Section C were $20. If we wanted Section A, which was front on, we would have paid $40, but actually the circus, being quite small, was easy to see from all angles and Section C was just fine. So my advice to you is just to get there early and get yourself a decent front row or second row seat so you can see perfectly. The performances were amazing and definitely worth the price of admission. It was more like a play with tricks and stunts, and throughout telling a story of discrimination and showing the audience it's not right to judge someone by their appearance. All in all, it was a marvellous experience with juggling, tight ropes, balancing acts, trapeze artists, acrobatics, fire-breathing clowns and much more. There was an introductory video at the start explaining the origins of many performers and a plea for donations to help the school tour and continue help the children in need. Afterwards, there was a meet and greet with the performers and an opportunity to ask questions and hear more about the school and what it does. All in all, this is a must-see in Siem Reap. Well guys, that's it for day 2. Thank you very much. Stay tuned for day 3.